Surabaya with a mix of emotions. Despite having prepared myself to investigate the Darmo haunted house, there was a heavy feeling weighing on me. Weeks before my arrival, I had gathered various pieces of information from local books and articles about the house. Rumors about the Darmo haunted house were well known throughout Surabaya. Once, it had been the residence of the Darmo family, highly respected in the community. However, their name took a dark turn after news of their black magic practices spread. As I arrived at the location, I sensed an entirely different aura. The house stood imposingly, despite its dilapidated state. Broken windows, peeling paint, and doors that seemed ready to fall apart greeted me. I looked around, noting every detail that might be useful for my investigation. The locals seemed unwilling to speak about the house. Only one elderly person was willing to talk, and he only gave me vague information. "Be careful," he said. "No one ever comes back the same after trying to uncover the secrets of that house." Feeling even more compelled to uncover the truth, I decided to spend my first night in the house to experience its atmosphere firsthand. The first night in the Darmo haunted house was an unnerving experience. As I opened the door, a stench of decay hit me immediately. Dust and dirt covered everything, and it was clear that the house hadn't been inhabited for years. I began exploring the ground floor, examining each room with a flashlight. Every step I took on the creaky wooden floor sounded unusually loud in the silence of the night. I found a room with walls covered in old photographs. The photos depicted the Darmo family, their expressions cold and vacant. In the living room, I came across an old piano that looked like it hadn't been played in years. As I approached it, the piano suddenly emitted a loud, eerie sound, as if someone was playing it. I jumped in surprise and tried to calm myself, thinking it might just be a result of the house's poor condition. I also discovered a hidden room behind a movable bookshelf. The room appeared to have been used as an office, with scattered documents on a desk. Many of the documents were filled with strange symbols and foreign writings. I made a note of every detail, planning to investigate further later. In the following nights, I began experiencing unsettling occurrences. I frequently woke up in the middle of the night to sounds of creaking or faint whispers. One night, I woke up feeling suffocated and as if something heavy was pressing down on my chest. I tried to move around the house with my flashlight, but every time I ventured further, I felt a chilling draft and heard footsteps behind me. The sounds grew clearer each night, as if something was following my every move. One night, I saw a faint shadow at the end of the corridor. It appeared to be a woman with long hair and an indistinct face. I felt an intense fear, and when I tried to approach the figure, it vanished instantly. When I returned to my room, I found the notes I had left on the desk were in disarray. This made me more certain that something was wrong with the house. As I delved deeper into the basement, I stumbled upon an ancient altar covered in dust and cobwebs. The altar was surrounded by candles that seemed to have been burning for ages, with wax dripped around it. I discovered a large book covered with a red cloth on the altar. The book was filled with strange images and ritualistic notes. Some pages depicted rituals involving sacrifices and blood. I was horrified as I read through parts of the book, but knew I had to continue to uncover the truth. In the room, I also found other eerie items like small, disturbing statues and scraps of cloth that seemed to be used in rituals. The atmosphere grew increasingly tense as I started to feel as though something was watching me from the dark corners of the room. I continued my investigation, searching for clues about how these rituals might be linked to the house's curse. I found a room with a large mirror that seemed to have strange powers. When I looked into the mirror, I didn't only see my own reflection but also horrifying images of past sacrifices that took place in the house. I saw figures bound and tortured, and rituals performed on the altar. Every time I tried to look away, the images became clearer. I felt trapped in the mirror, as though something was trying to pull me inside. When I tried to step away from the mirror, I felt something holding my legs. I struggled to move, but it felt like an invisible force was preventing me from leaving. I had to fight through my fear and make a desperate escape from the room. After much effort and tension, I decided to perform a counter-ritual that I found in the book. I knew this was the only way to stop the curse surrounding the house. I carefully set up the altar, lighting candles, and following the instructions in the book. The atmosphere became increasingly tense as I began chanting and performing the ritual steps. Each chant seemed to draw a stronger dark presence around me. The house started to shake violently, and strange noises echoed through the room. I felt an incredibly powerful presence gathering around the altar. I tried to stay focused and complete the ritual, even though fear was gnawing at me. When I finished, the atmosphere suddenly went silent. I felt the heavy weight pressing down on me lift, and the house seemed to become calmer. I was relieved but also exhausted from the terrifying experience. Finally, I left the Darmo haunted house with mixed emotions. The house, now seemingly peaceful under the morning sun, no longer felt as oppressive. I had uncovered the dark secrets and faced the horrors within, but the house still held its unsettling past. As I drove away from Surabaya, I felt a sense of accomplishment but also a lingering unease. The Darmo haunted house had revealed its secrets, but some mysteries remained hidden in the shadows, waiting for the next seeker.